Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mining Now. I'm your host, Jared Downey. This is another episode filmed from Mine Expo in Las Vegas, a fantastic event. To give you an idea, I was talking to someone. I left the event for about 50 minutes. I came back and it went from half-empty halls to full halls. It's just that type of event. Lots of people, people stopping at the booths. It's just a lot going on. Very fun. If you haven't been there, make sure to come down. Today we have come back. We have Petro-Canada Lubricants, an HF Sinclair brand on the show. And we've got two new guests to the show. We featured Petro-Canada Lubricants. Well, you got some competition from your team for who's the top for interviews, so no pressure. We have Behshad Sabah. Sorry,
That's correct, Sabah.
I don't know why I said that. But Behshad Sabah, he is the Senior Technical Services Advisor at Petro-Canada Lubricants, and we have Brian Schmidt. You are the National Sales Manager, if this is accurate.
That's accurate.
All right. We're going to cover, we've actually got a lot. Sharon put together a lot of notes for us. You've got a busy booth. You are in a very busy section. So I'm sure at some point someone's going to come toppling over the table here, but that's okay. Brian, let's start with you. Actually, let's go into your roles. Behshad, what is your role with the company?
Well, I work as a senior technical advisor for the company, covering a part of Ontario north and southern parts. I serve the clients on technical questions, issues, health and safety, regularity, the environment concerns and stuff, on a mining industry, pulp and paper, forestry, food plants, and car assembly plants in southern Ontario.
And so what keeps you busy when you're not doing that? Sounds like quite a bit.
Yeah, well, I have to travel up north a couple of times a month.
Yeah.
Stay there, go to the mine site, do the audits, all the technical things that we do for our customers for free. There are 11 things that we do. So normally we present it to the customer, ask them to go through it, what they want, and then we justify it for the management and we do it for them. So
I feel like I'm going to be able to ask some good questions then with that knowledge. So, and then Brian, what is your role? What's the day to day?
Oh, wow. What isn't my day-to-day? No, I enjoy being a national account manager for Petro-Canada Lubricants. And my role really is to seek out some of the large producers in the mining industry, really try to determine what we can do to make an impact on their business and drive their costs down. I have the privilege of working with some of the best people in the industry with Petro-Canada Lubricants, and Behshad is just one example of the technical service advisors that I can utilize. We have a great team, a great technical team, good distribution. Our distributors are excellent in making sure that we get the product out to the customers.
How much I want to jump right into one of a key topic is maintenance. We're going to be doing different versions of maintenance talks throughout the show, coming from different angles, obviously. But from your vantage point, how much has that industry transformed the way they even think about maintenance?
Wow, there's been so many changes in the last several years, and I want to call it more digital transformation. All the sensors and ways that the equipment is being monitored these days is just phenomenal. There's onboard computers on the big heavy haul trucks and the support equipment to where we're getting real-time data. But it's not so much being able to hook the sensors up and monitor every component as much as it is taking that information and putting it all together and being able to really drive at making the best maintenance program that you possibly can. And what I'm talking about is really trying to integrate all the different information into one central location that's easily deciphered by the maintenance managers and operation folks so that they can make sure that equipment is running at the top efficiencies.
I know it's a very basic question. If you're, someone like yourself, you'd know it off the top of your head. But for me, I don't know it just instantly. What's the data points of a lubrication system? Now, like what is that? What's the information that you've got feeding?
So,
I asked that question terribly.
well, that's okay.
Yeah, but
So a lot of the newer equipment is able to provide key information on the operational hours.
Data points. That was the word I was trying to get to.
Right.
There we go.
So just the operational hours,
Yeah.
the the load capacities, or not necessarily the load capacities, but what that particular equipment has done as far as work. What's the fuel burn? How are they monitoring fuel burn in relation to the amount of stress and strain that's being put on that engine? And really making sure that they're hitting their key targets for oil drain intervals. You've got transmissions, you've got hydraulics, you've got a grease system, and just making sure everything is in sync so that when that piece of equipment comes in for a maintenance PM, everything is done properly.
Let's talk about our Heavy Industry World Tour brought to you by Sabah Equipment. Find, market, and sell surplus and used equipment. We are heading to events across North America and Australia and filming episodes on location. Email us at info@crownsmen.com to be part of Crownsmen's Heavy Industry World Tour. In the toughest environments, you need the hardest, toughest steel. With a full range of grades designed to meet the extreme demands of hard-wearing applications, from mining to construction and heavy transport, Hardock's Wearplate has it covered. Trust Hardock's Wear Steel to extend your equipment service life, boost efficiency, and power up productivity. Their wear experts partner with industry leaders to deliver solutions that stand up to any test. Ready to tackle your toughest wear challenges? Bring it on. Visit hardocks.com to learn more. Who is Sabah Equipment? Sabah Equipment Limited is a buyer and seller of new, used, and refurbished industrial equipment with a focus on mining and construction. They find, market, and sell surplus and used equipment. Does the equipment need work? They can refurbish. Is there something you can't find? They source those hard-to-find items. Selling equipment? They buy, consign, and broker equipment and asset packages. Need equipment moved? Sabah Equipment manages logistics for worldwide delivery. Surface and underground ore processing, concentrating, and refining plants and equipment, power generation and electrical, pump, material handling, alluvial placer, gold mining, recycling, and much more. If you need to buy, sell, find, refurbish, or move equipment, you need Sabah Equipment. Sabah Equipment, more equipment every day. Visit them at sabahequipment.com. Techway designs, manufactures, and services high-quality industrial scales and feeders. For over 50 years, processors of everything from French fries to frac sand have counted on Techway to provide the most durable, accurate, and reliable in-motion feeding, weighing, and metering equipment for their dried material handling needs. They specialize in providing tailored solutions that endure the test of time and material. Techway's quality line of products are proudly made in the USA. Learn more at techway.com.
Going back the other way then, is it changing, like the lubrication that's supposed to go in a certain OEM's machine, is that the lubrication that's supposed to go in it, or does that change depending on the environment, how people are running the trucks? Does that change it, or is this more feedback on how they are using the vehicle, how they're maintaining it, as opposed to what you're actually putting into it?
So that's a really good question, and
I had to recover from the last one.
Let me just talk about hydraulic shovels, for instance. They have a PLC, a computer system that monitors how that lubrication system is running, and even before that equipment is fired up, it'll have prompts to have it be set up to be specific for that type of hydraulic oil that's being used in that application, such as the load or the viscosity index of the oil. For instance, if you plug in the properties of that oil to set up the PLC, it will actually behave in that manner so that when it reaches optimal or minimal operating temperatures, it will react accordingly. So if we start to operate outside that bandwidth, it'll monitor and it'll keep that equipment safely operating so that we don't damage that equipment.
How much is it, the lubrication systems that you're putting in place, how much are they changing based on how the equipment's being used, what the equipment is, how their maintenance program is, like all these things that go into it? How does it sort of all mesh together in the end?
So that's a really good question. And equipment technology has really advanced over the last several years. And just one example, if we're talking about the hydraulic shovel applications with the demand for a high-quality hydraulic oil, the equipment nowadays can actually, you can actually program into that piece of equipment the lubricant properties. And with that, the equipment will be programmed to not run outside of those properties in a high temperature situation. For instance, if it reaches a certain temperature, it'll start to derate the engine and slow it down a little bit so that it does not exceed that critical property that hydraulic oil may have.
Wow. Is this, these systems, are these on new machines? Can this be retrofitted onto like older fleets?
We're seeing it more on the newer machines.
Yeah. And how much of a difference does it make?
It makes a big difference, and it protects the components within that piece of equipment, the hydraulic systems, and it also allows the operators to maximize the use of the equipment when they're running a high-quality hydraulic oil with a high viscosity index.
Right.
For almost 30 years, SureStrike International has been delivering high-quality hydraulic impact hammers. Whether you are in aggregate, mining, or industrial applications, they help provide superior output, process flexibility, and remarkable economics in your front-end processing. With hammers ranging from 25,000 to a staggering 150,000 foot-pound of striking force, SureStrike has the perfect solution for any application. It's time to optimize your front-end processing with SureStrike International. To learn more, visit them at SureStrikeInternational.com. OK Foreign Trade and Mining Company is the leading producer of injection chemicals from the mining and tunneling industries. What distinguishes OK is that all processes are managed entirely in-house, from the production of raw materials to research and development and sales. This vertical integration ensures that injection chemicals are tailored specifically to the required needs. The products are utilized for strata stabilization, roof support, and the prevention of air, gas, and water leaks. A commitment to quality is demonstrated through accreditations from NAC, IAAC, APAC, and ILAC, ensuring that all tests and products comply with the highest international standards. Visit okdtm.com to learn more. When it comes to balancing the growing demand on your grid with the growing need for more responsible, sustainable energy production and generation, you need the right partner. A partner who delivers long-standing grid expertise from a team dedicated to your unique needs, and one who supports that team with innovations designed for the future needs of your grid, while being rooted in proven electrification excellence. ABB is that partner, offering solutions that meet technical requirements, regulatory compliance, and recognize the need for sustainability in your business operations, as well as in the lives of the surrounding communities. Solutions that expertly blend physical services and solutions with next-level digitization. Solutions that enable safer, smarter, more sustainable operations. ABB is the name to trust to help modernize your grid. Learn more at abb.com/CA.
The sustainability side of things, where is your role in that?
So with the equipment we're seeing in the mines right now, there's a lot of automation, a lot of digital and electronics going on to where we're seeing autonomous vehicles being implemented. They call it the AHS, Autonomous Haulage Systems, and that's where you've got driverless vehicles. And sustainability, from our standpoint, is being able to provide lubricants that will withstand these harsh conditions. When the AHS systems are in place, we're seeing operational efficiencies improve. The haul profiles and the haulage roads are going to take a different shape because they have no drivers driving those trucks. They can very accurately control the trucks in a more safe manner to avoid accidents, and they can push them to the highest levels of efficiency. And you need to have a lubricant that can withstand these long hours because there's no more shift change where they're bringing that truck down.
It's eliminated.
Yeah, it's just these trucks are running at a higher efficiency, and so we need to make sure that we have lubricants that can withstand that.
So again, the lubricant itself will change because of that?
There's being higher demands put on the lubricants for better oxidation control, better soot dispersancy, and it's making us, as a lubricant supplier, think more precisely how we can withstand longer oil drain intervals and to do it safely so that the equipment can reach their KPIs, their key performance indicators.
Is there in product lists the carbon reduction is obviously a discussion that's I wouldn't say it's every second episode we do, but it's coming up a lot. It's are there product lines? Obviously, there's some where it's not applicable, some where it's are. But do you have product lines that sort of fall into that carbon reduction strategy for companies?
There is a big push right now to reduce the megatons of CO2 that's being produced by the mining companies. And really, that's a lot of that's attributed to the diesel burning equipment. And as I had mentioned, the autonomous haulage systems really do reduce the amount of idle time. And reducing the amount of idle time actually allows for better fuel economy, fuel efficiency for the vehicles because the fuel's being used during more of a workload period rather than just idle. But to answer your question, having a lubricant that's formulated with the best oxidation stability to minimize oil consumption really does help decrease the amount of carbon footprint that's being, created by that diesel engine.
But Behshad, I realized I should have set it up though how we were doing the interview before. There's that it's kind of this whole section we're covering with Brian, and then you've got a whole section in the second half. But I want to bring you in on Brian's section here because
Sure.
you mentioned like fielding the questions that you're providing these presentations, and you're fielding the questions. You've just heard this conversation we're having. What are some of the common questions? And I started doing this a few months ago because I realized I'm sitting here doing these interviews, and there's someone that probably has a question, and they're just going, can you please just, this is the thing I need to know. What are some common questions that you're getting within these topics that we've covered?
Well, most of the time they ask about like biodegradable lubricant, environmentally acceptable lubricants. They ask about the sustainability of our process and our products on their process. They talk about how we can help them to improve and extend the oil drain intervals, the easier disposal, better warehousing, and these kind of things. And Petro-Canada R&D team has worked and is working at this moment as we are speaking on different formulas, different technologies to address these questions. We have done this at the past. We normally, most of the time, Petro-Canada is the industry leader on new innovations and new products into the market. And we believe that for these concerns and questions, we have the right answer by the right product that we can recommend and offer.
Let's talk about profits. Let's both of you. Oh, sorry, were you?
No, I'm good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. When it comes down to it, when people are bringing you onto site, they're wanting the equipment to run better, more efficiently, and that their bottom line is at very least not affected.
Yeah.
At very least. How do you approach, and both of you, how do you approach that conversation, both from a technical standpoint and from a sales perspective?
I call it trying to really increase operational efficiencies. And when we start working with companies, I like to look at what's causing the highest spend for their maintenance program. What parts are they replacing most often? What's keeping them from really hitting their desired KPIs? And I call it follow the money. Let's find out what's causing that piece of equipment not to operate as efficiently as possible, and then we just really dive into the failure modes or what's causing the root cause of those failures, and then provide the best recommendations we can to correct that.
How do you sift through that, Behshad?
Okay. So technically, from a technical standpoint, we go with something that we call it cost-saving proposal. Is from the vendor consolidation, product consolidation, longer oil interval drain, better testing, doing the annual inspection on critical equipment, so on and so forth. So it's not something that we go there and we have a list of our competition lubricants and we cross it and we walk away. As a technical service advisor like me, we are responsible to provide a minimum amount of saving to that customer per year. As I said, we have 11 things to do based on the list that we have. We don't do it for everybody, but based on the needs, we pick and choose. And the result should be some cost saving for the customer at the end of the day.
I have to ask, though,
Yes.
is what if you're coming on to site and the last company did just sell them the lubricants and walk away? Then what do you do?
Yeah, well, there is a part of that 11
I know
things.
that never happens.
Yeah, but you know, a part of that 11 things is the compatibility study that we do. Normally, we do not require the customer to drain everything, flush, and fill. We do a study on a specific equipment, tell them if they can top up, if the products are compatible or not. So our goal and mission is not to create the cost for the customer, is to save the cost for the customer.
Right.
So we do everything that we can do in our power based on the company policy, of course, to make sure that by switching to our product, they save money in operation, maintenance, reliability, and all these things.
So this sounds like on the sales side, that would be like what I just brought up. I'm sure that question comes like, are we going to have to, if we start this conversation, is it going to end with you asking us to drain a whole bunch of stuff out and like this big costly thing that we can't do? Do you run into those kind of concerns, or do you pretty quickly let people know it's not going to be what's...
Well, as Behshad said, first, we need to find out what product they're using previously and make sure there's not a compatibility issue or a major change in quality. We may have a case where they have an inferior product that they're using that's really causing their maintenance intervals to be impacted negatively. So at the end of the day, our goal is to help reduce the cost per ton of material that's moved by that operation. And if it means topping off tanks, if we can do it safely and we can improve on those PMs, or we may have to have them drain and flush and then put the higher quality product in so that they can hit those optimal levels.
But it's all about gathering the data and finding out.
Right.
That's right. And one thing is, it's not always about the money. It could be about the health and safety. It could be about the environment. It could be about a food plant making food for people, and there is the chance of contamination with a non-food grade material. So it's not only the dollar that they save, there are other things in the picture as well, as I said. So we consider everything to make sure that based on the rules and regulation and the public safety and company policy, we do our best to help that customer.
Yeah, it's quite. We could probably keep going. I want to get into something very specific, and I've got it in my notes here, and I didn't even know there was a shift to talk about. So I'm really coming green. The unfortunate thing with this show is I get to ask I get so much information thrown at me.
Yeah.
But it also that exposes how I'm behind. I'm not thinking about lubricants near as much as you are, so I don't get updated on it until I do a show. The shift to ultra low zinc technology. I didn't know there was a shift to ultra low zinc technology.
That's
so
correct.
First, can you just give us a backstory?
Sure,
what are we
sure.
replacing? What are we?
Sure. If you go back to the history of lubricants, you see that zinc-based additive compounds has been used for a long time in industrial lubrication, hydraulic oil, gear oils, these kind of things. And that zinc compound that we call a ZDDP as a short contains the zinc component and the phosphorus component. And traditionally, people thought that that zinc will create a layer on the surface of the parts inside the components, and that will work as an anti-wear additive to protect the surface from wear and these kind of things. Plus, that ZDDP has some sort of antioxidant property added to the oil, and everybody loved that additive package. Some years ago, the hydraulic oil came to the market without zinc. They were based on the TCP technology or different kinds of chemistries that some of the areas we need them, like if you had a bearing covered with silver or a vane pump with a silver coating, you couldn't use zinc. So industry at the back, they had a zinc product line, which was like 95% of the industry, and 5% was non-zinc based. Not because of the environment, because of that silver-coated items that we had. So little by little, and I should say two things. In 2019, Cincinnati University, they did a research and they came up with the idea, with the result that 1.6% of an industrialized country GDP goes against the wear and friction, which means you need more energy.
How much?
1.6% of the GDP of a country, of industrialized country. So if you consider $2,000 billion in Canada, we are talking about $32 billion that we spend extra energy to overcome the extra friction or buy.
That's a crazy. Sorry, who came up? Who came up with
University
crazy
of
stat?
Cincinnati, 2019. That's the research that they did.
Do you know what? I'm sorry, I'm an interviewer. I gotta
Sure.
ask some follow-up questions on that. Why did they do that? That's such a random. Well, not random. It's obviously huge. 1.6%. But how did they end up doing the study?
Well, I don't know what was the process of the research, but the research paper is out. You know,
That's
everybody
crazy.
you can get it online. But the point is, so you spend $32 billion to use more energy to overcome the friction or buy extra parts because now parts are worn and
Yeah.
you can use them.
Yeah.
So lubricants should be there to reduce the friction, reduce the wear, give you extended life for that equipment, so
Yeah.
on and so forth. And ZDDP was in the system to do that, right? So the other research that we did at Petro-Canada some years ago, we tested we did two tests in 5 different samples. One test was something that we call it TAN, or total acid number. And the other one was a test that we do it like oxidation stability or oxidation life. We did it on virgin oil and water, virgin oil and copper, virgin oil and zinc, virgin oil and the iron, and the mixture of them. So technically, if you have only one sort of contamination, you don't have any problem. TAN doesn't increase, the oxidation life is there, everybody's happy. But when you mix one of these elements with water, then everything falls apart. So you have a high total acid number, shortened life of the oil. So that zinc, ZDDP, was good. And if you had the water contamination, now you had the higher TAN or total acid number, lower life of the oil, and then it could create the varnish and the sludge in the system. So industry was thinking about it to get rid of it, but there was not a big push because when you want to change that additive, it means extra cost. And normally extra cost is passed to the end user, and end user is not happy to pay more for the oil for the same operation and application. So it was there and not there. Till the time that the European Chemical Agency, they start talking about a special type of zinc ZDDP additive, which is not good for the environment. So they start putting ban on it or think about to put a ban on it. And that pushed the industry toward the fact that now we should think about future, because if they put a ban on it, and you cannot make it, and what else you should do, okay? So they start thinking about removing ZDDP from the formulation. During that research, they find out that, hey, you know what? ZDDP, zinc was not the main anti-wear additive. Zinc was a carrier to take the phosphorus to the point, and now phosphorus make that layer, and zinc will be released to the oil. So if we can transfer that phosphor to the point of contact as we wish, we don't need the zinc. So now they come up with a new formulation that they call it ultra low zinc. I think it's about up to 50 ppm zinc compared to 1,200 ppm at the past. That solves the environmental problem. That solves the European regularity issue that they have with the REL zinc. And that solves the, any sort of contamination or shortened life in oxidation or total acid number increase.
Cost, is it similar?
No, it's a little bit higher cost, but as I said, now look at the mining industry. Mining industry normally happens in a harsh environment, cold or hot. It's in very close contact with the soil and water and forest and the environment. It has a huge footprint on the environment. Either it's underground or above ground, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So now mines, they want to reduce the carbon footprint, as you said. They want to be more environmental friendly because if there is a spill or further disposal or any issue that they have with water and soil,
Yeah.
then they need to clean it up or they get a fine from the government, right? So now the mining industry recognize that they need a replacement. They need a reduced zinc content material. And we will talk about that environmental EAL later on. But at this moment, based on the footprint that the mining industry has and the push by the regularity, they want to go through this new technology. It costs a little bit more, but on the other side, that reduces the environmental impact that the mining industry has to the environment at this moment.
What's the response for you've been talking about to clients about this product?
This is very early in the development, and we haven't fully vetted the true output of how this is going to impact the industry. We know that for years they've been operating at a higher zinc level.
So can I just get a clarification on it? So in Europe, did you say?
In 2028, based on the European Chemical Association, aerial zinc cannot be used as a form of the DDP.
So there's a regulatory thing happening in Europe.
Yes.
Okay, not at this point, not U.S. and Canada.
But North America will follow. Most of the time, what happens, Europe goes first, then California, and then a little bit of United States, and then Ontario, and that goes everywhere. So that's how it works.
Right, okay.
Most of the time.
Okay, so where's the conversation at now then in the industry here? I mean, people watch from all over the world, but where's the conversation at right here?
Well, I think at this moment, sorry to interrupt, at this moment, we are going through a process of, as Brian said, validating the final results. Everything is promising, better performance, a little bit higher cost for sure. And we are in the process of educating our customers about this new technology and benefits that they have.
Okay, and I really want to, what is your, because you're in there when they're needing technical information. You're on the ground when there's some of these conversations are first starting. Is that right?
That's correct.
What are those initial conversations like?
So the initial conversations, I think, the key is that we are being ahead of the gang in developing the best products for their fleet and really paying attention to the upcoming regulations that we're going to see. And not only with the slight change of, reducing the zinc content in the oil, I think it's really critical to understand that the additives are just a small portion of the oil makeup. Having a good, solid, premium base oil to blend with these additives is really key. And that's where Petro-Canada can really shine. And combining with our high-quality base oils with the additive systems that are changing slightly, we really are confident that we can hit the sustainability goals and the oil extension lives that the equipment is demanding on us right now.
You're nodding. Do you have anything to add?
No, I just agree with what Brian said on that. Yeah.
Can you expand on anything that Brian said though? Like if the market is moving that direction, do they have will there be a lot of education for them to understand that can it be more efficient? Like there's a higher cost. Is it going to be more efficient? Are the machines going to last longer? Is there data? Does that data still need to be researched? Sort of where are you at with just that technical information for people?
So as a technical person, one of our responsibilities is that when we sit in front of the customer and we are going to go through the proposal stage and tell them what they need, what they should use it, what kind of test they should do, that's our job to make it cost effective for the customer or show the cost benefits of switching from whatever that they have to ultra low zinc product. And I think based on the sustainability, based on the higher efficiency, based on the longer drain intervals, based on the less environmental impact, and so on and so forth, so we can justify that minimum extra cost that they have based on all the savings that they get.
So you think it will get?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
I want to before I let both of you go, I just want to ask both of you. We mentioned autonomous, and we touched on electrical a little bit more. How much does the electric lubrication change from your standard haul trucks and loaders and everything like that? Is it a different system?
Well,
obviously it's a different
obviously
system,
there's there's not going to be the need for an engine oil,
that'll
heavy
be-
duty engine
yeah.
oil. So if they go fully electric, it puts there's a much lower demand for engine oils for the mining companies to be purchasing engine oils. There still will be a big demand for the extreme pressure gear oils
Yes.
and lubricants, greases, hydraulic oils.
Yeah, that's where it's going to be. Now, but all of this, it's sort of like everything's shifting because you got autonomous coming in. So there's that demand shift because they're going to be doing basically less maintenance, less change. Now you've got electrification. So the type of oil is changing a little bit there too. Now you've got lower zinc. So that's changing a little bit. Where does it all land? Where does it end? Where do we end up here?
Well, everybody's looking to save the cost, right?
Right.
That some of the mines they go with autonomous, some of them will go the electrification. Some of them will don't do anything, wait for the industry to go ahead and play safe. But for autonomous, for example, maybe they use the diesel engine. The
Right.
same trucks, but they make it autonomous.
So they just need a longer maintenance
Yes,
window.
longer maintenance, less tear and wear on the parts, save some money on the gas, because now the driver is not pushing and pulling, the truck. So
Right.
that's like a smooth movement of the truck.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of saving that the industry is looking at. Electrification is another one, the greenhouse issue that they generate because they burn a lot of diesel fuel to run the whole fleet is not there, plus other issues that they have. So it depends. I think mining industry at this moment, I think yesterday we look at some numbers. Seems that 25% of mining industry at this moment are thinking about this change for the next 5 years. And 38% are thinking about it for 10 years from now. So it seems that nobody's jumping right now into
Yeah.
these technologies. They're waiting for the new equipment to come and the emerge of technology,
Yeah.
the training, the parts, service, and all these things. And then later on, probably in 20, 25 years from now, then that will be like a regular practice by every single mine.
The other thing I wanted to ask you was just about the way that the industry, the demand for these environmentally friendly products. We touched on it a little bit earlier,
Sure.
but I wanted to sort of dig into it again from a little bit of a technical standpoint.
Sure.
Where is that at in the industry today, and where is it going?
Cool. Well, I tell you a little bit about the history. I started working in lubricant business in 1996. And I had a mentor, and I had the same question from the gentleman. What's the meaning of these environmental friendly lubricants? At that time, he said that there are 33 different definitions of environmental friendly lubricants in the world. Since then till today, the industry worked very hard. Now we landed on 2 specific regulation and definition. We call it inherently biodegradable or rapidly biodegradable. So inherently biodegradable means that 20 to 60% of the oil will be degraded in 28 days. Rapidly means 60% or more will be degraded in 28 days. But if you think about like a hydraulic oil is 95, 98% base oil and 5 to 3% additive package. So if you have a good base oil, which 60% is gone in 28 days, you can call it rapidly biodegradable, no matter if the additive stays on the earth inside the water for longer. So now to address this problem, they come up with a new idea. They call it EAL, environmentally acceptable lubricant, which means that 60% and more applies to every single component of that finished product. So now 60% of the additive should go, 60% of the base oil should go. And so that's it. That puts a lot of pressure on the formulation of the products, on the additive manufacturers, because that's new to them. Because since till now, whatever that they made, as long as it's less than 40%, nobody cares. Just dump it there, dump it and do whatever that you want.
Yeah.
So now the R&D department of Petro-Canada Lubricants came up with some solutions to that in conjunction work with some additive suppliers. So now we have environmentally acceptable lubricant for the mining industry. I should say it doesn't mean that you can have a spill and you walk away.
Right.
You have to stay and clean it up. There is
People are still people. That's why he
Yeah.
has to clarify that.
Yeah, yeah, and I want to sorry, and I want to emphasize one thing. Sometimes people ask us, "You have your product create sheen on the water or no?" Because the oil is lighter than the water, it comes to the surface,
Yeah.
and you see that.
Yeah.
And we want you to see that because then you can clean it. I see some companies that are proud that their product doesn't create the sheen because that's heavier than the water, goes under the water. If you don't see it, doesn't mean that it's not there. You have
Right.
to clean it up. I just want to make sure that we understand EAL doesn't mean that you spill and walk away.
Right.
You don't see it doesn't mean that it's not there.
Yeah.
You have to clean it up.
Yeah.
And this is what we do at Petro-Canada
You still have to
Lubricants.
clean up your mess, people.
Yes, yeah. So at Petro-Canada Lubricants Research and Development Team, we have developed these products. They already go to the market. We are working on different type of lubricants with the same concept, and they will come to the market very shortly. So.
Wow, that's what is it? Just quickly, what does it take in time-wise to develop a product that, like years, months?
Well, everybody makes the product to sell. If you make it and you don't sell it, nobody likes it. So everything starts with the business idea of, customer that you may have, the amount of the sales, the margin, so on and so forth. If the numbers are there, then the R&D start working between 6 months to 12 months to come up with a formula. They should make some lab blends, and after bench tests, it goes to a bigger scale. That goes to the field trial, probably a year or 1 year or 2 years of field trial. And by 3 to 3.5 years, you have a product ready to go to the market with all the credentials and tests that you have done.
Do you, again, just one last one. On the AI side, that's also a hot topic. Now, AI has been around longer than I think people realize. There's been machine learning, and minds have been using it in other industries. I think ChatGPT made everybody go, huh? What is this? But it has been around. Are you seeing, though, a direct impact of that as these machines, the machine learning does get more advanced? That there seems to me there'd be some real opportunity there.
Yeah, I really agree with that. Like I said earlier, it's not for having data. It's what we can do with that data. And AI is really going to be beneficial to monitor say like a lube truck or a haulage truck on all the lube systems. And not only are we feeding data in on, from the oil analysis results, but all the other data sensors that could correlate what's causing, some precursors for component failures or how that can be predicted, before it actually happens. And I think as AI advances more in the maintenance area, it's only going to benefit everybody. We're going to be taking that data stream of all these different sensors and information and putting it into a format that can be easily understood, and they can pinpoint when they need to bring that vehicle in for maintenance.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing stuff. From a technical standpoint, what do you sort of feel?
Well,
how do you feel about it?
as Brian said, for example, we see that in one mine they have autonomous trucks. It comes, it hits a bump, sends a signal to the next truck. The next truck reduces the speed or bypass that bump till the repair guys, they come and fix it. So that means
it makes it sound so simple, but that's actually just an unbelievable advance in technology. Imagine the impact you're saving on that vehicle over and over again, all day.
That's right, and now they pay less for the brakes, they pay less for the tires, because they have a smooth movement, they pay less for the gas.
Yeah.
So adding up, they are not touching the diesel engine, they're just working on an AI and data collection and process, as Brian said. So with that simple act, they save so much money per year.
And that's what I mean. I think AI, that people don't understand. It's just you reach out the window and wave to go around. It's just it's doing those things that, obviously people aren't doing that on a mine site in a big truck. It's doing that communication that you would do if you could. Maybe you could radio in or what have you.
Yeah.
But now you're radioing. Now you're on your radio. You're driving. There's all these things that go. All of a sudden, it's just there. It's just fixed.
Well, I can tell you
Amazing.
a different story about the AI if you're interested.
Yeah.
Talking about this electrification, batteries, and these kind of things, for a period of time, people were scared that lithium, we don't have enough lithium to do this and that. I think end of last year, there was a research done by Microsoft and another company. I can't remember the second one. And they
Pacific Northwest National Laboratory?
no, no,
I saw that in the
no. And then what they did, they uploaded, I think, 32 million formulation of man-made molecules into an AI and gave the AI some criteria to pick. And in 3 weeks, AI picked 18 possible man-made molecule to replace lithium in a battery. And they picked the first one. They called it N2116.
Okay.
And the report came out in January this year by BBC Science that by using that material, they could reduce the dependency on the lithium by 70%. So, do we need more lithium? Probably not. That's the reason that the price of lithium is coming down now. Nobody's interested anymore. Having said that, there are other components like cobalt. Still, there is a shortage of cobalt. But you ask me, I would say next year they upload everything and ask AI to find something that works as cobalt. So going through the 32 million molecules into 18 candidates in 3 weeks is not possible without the AI.
Wow.
And that these things are happening and companies are using that in the benefit of the mining industry and other industries as well.
I think it's as long as AI doesn't replace us as humans, it could make us better humans.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Yeah, and that really is the question that we will be arguing about that for the next 50 years.
That's right.
We hope.
Yeah. Well, I will be retired in 15 years. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do this for a living, so I keep hearing these incredible things it can do, and it really is about doing it properly. And part of doing it properly is talking about it and educating people. And I'm not actually even that pro AI, but I am pro if we can not dig more holes than we need to.
Right.
I'm pro
Absolutely.
digging the holes, but not more than we need to. It's just sort of that balance. And I think in a way a lot of people are kind of coming to that middle ground. They go, okay, you do need energy. Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. But now with systems like AI, if you're bringing down maintenance costs, you're bringing down build costs, you're bringing down extraction costs in the mining industry. It's incredible. We could see the next 10 years, we could see just like the cost, the demand for lithium going down for batteries. Yeah. Imagine what that could look like in the world. It's absolutely incredible. So, gentlemen, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. I love talking to you. Your booth, I think they were all threatening to be like distract you. I heard someone asking, "Can I go in the trying to get in the camera and stuff?" So it's a good crew. You're gonna have fun here. It's only the first day of Vegas, so
thank you for the opportunity.
Hopefully, everybody makes it home safe and sound.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you both.
All right,
thank you very much.
And thank you for watching Mining Now. Of course, we'll have links to you can check out Petro-Canada Lubricants. We'll have a link to their website, and you're both on LinkedIn, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We'll have to both gentlemen's LinkedIn. You can connect with them directly or follow Petro-Canada Lubricants on LinkedIn. And they'll be back on the show soon. But we had a great talk today. So thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe. And we will see you on the next episode of Mining Now.